Hello everyone, this is going to be a course on Python for Jira. What actually this means? This means that I will be using the VS Code to write some of the scripts that where I'm actually be able to leverage Python with the Jira API. But before you actually do this, there are some prerequisites that you need to do. So first of all, you need to make sure that you have Python installed. And in order for Python for Jira to actually work, you need to have the version of Python that is higher than the version of 3.9. So when you have that, that is great. If you have something that is lower, make sure that you upgrade your Python version, otherwise it won't work. The very first step that you actually need to do is, if you are on Mac, just like I am, you need to open a new terminal. When you click on terminal and new terminal, then you need to type in pip free install Jira, and it will install all of the needed libraries that you can actually use. That is the first part. And when you're actually starting to use your own Jira, I'm gonna show you some few uh, few tricks. So first of all, this is my Bitbucket Python Jira repository. This repository is public. It is actually available to anyone. Anyone can actually view this script, and you can actually code clone the repository itself, so you can actually use it in your own local environment. All right, so the first things first, I'm going to click on clone, and I'm going to copy this. Now, in order to copy this repository right here, one thing that is for certain, and that is you need to have the installed Git. So you can actually go to Google, you just type in git download. If you're Windows, you're gonna download this for the Windows. If you're actually on the Mac, you're gonna download this for the Mac, and that's it. There are no additional basically things to do, except on the Mac it's a bit complicated to install, because you would actually need to install it with the library that is called Homebrew. All right, and assuming that you already have the Git, everything is prepared in here. I'm now gonna clone my repository right here. So there we go. So now I have my repository right here. So this is one of the Python scripts that add users to the same role, basically. So this is like if you're having multiple users and you want to add them in multiple projects and under the same user role. As a prerequisite, there are some things that you basically need to define in here in order for all of these things to work. So let's begin. Once you install all of the needed things, just as Python, just as the Python for Jira library. Now what I can actually do is I can type in from Jira import Jira. This is the first step. We're definitely also going to need requests. And you might also get an error right here, where it's gonna ask you that basically these requests, the request library itself is not recognized, and that is okay. If you're using the VS Code, you can actually click on this light bulb right here, and it's gonna ask you to install the requests. You're gonna click on that. Once you actually do that, this error is gonna be gone. So we're gonna need from requests, and we're gonna need the authentication, and I'm gonna be using the basic authentication here. Okay, so we're gonna be needing three things. We're gonna be needing our email address that we're actually using to log into our Jira instance. We're gonna need the API key because we're gonna be using the basic authentication. We're not gonna be covering the OAuth stuff. And also, you're gonna be needing the URL of your Jira instance. So I'm gonna save you all of those troubles right here because I already have the example in here. So this is what I'm actually having. And it's saying, replace with your Jira Cloud URL and replace with your email address and with your API key. All right, so I already know. So it's gonna be Jira-production. Let me just check that one more time. Jira-production.Atlassian. Yeah, that's it. .net. That part is done. I'm gonna be using my email address, which is gonna be right here. And then I'm gonna go with the API key. I assume that you already know this. If you don't, you actually click on your avatar, you click on the manage account, go for security, you create to manage your API tokens. I'm gonna create my token and I'm gonna name it Python. And also, I'm gonna extend the expiring date of this, because if I select this to be only for today, when I run this tomorrow, it's not gonna be working because my API key is not going to be valid anymore. So I'm gonna extend this for some time, and it cannot be longer than a year. You should be aware of that. All right, so I have my API key here. I'm gonna copy and paste my API token. We're done with that part. So now what we also need is this part right here. So this part is crucial, and this part needs to be exact like this. So it starts with Jira. This is gonna be your variable, and it's gonna call out this this library here that we're already having. Then we're gonna be defining our server, and our server is actually our Jira Cloud URL. And we're also gonna define that we're actually using the basic authentication, and that basic authentication is gonna have the values of our email address and the API token. All right. So there are like several things that basically you can actually do that. So let's go through the documentation a bit. All right, so let's go for examples. And for the examples, we have some stuff in here. So the first thing is you can get all projects viewable by anonymous users. Anonymous users, basically, this actually can be true if and only if you have your browse project's permission set to be on public. If this is actually not the case, then it's not gonna list basically all of the projects, so it's not gonna be possible. All right, good. So if we define and say projects equals to Jira dot projects, we're gonna print out the projects. Okay. If we actually go with this one, so it's saying that we're actually missing something. Open module, SSL security, warnings, and all of that stuff. URL library free, only supports OpenSSL. Currently, the SSL compiled with the Libre or whatever this is. Missing schema. No scheme supply. Perhaps you meant Jira production. I mean, I know what I meant, okay? I know what I meant right there. Okay. Well, that's interesting. And there's no even this line defined in here. It's line 9, so this one. This part. Okay. Alright, so lots of stuff actually missing in here. Okay, so let me see. Let me see if everything is okay here. You're using pip version, you should consider upgrading the pip install upgrade command, which is something that I can do, of course. Pip install upgrade. Python 3 and pip install upgrade. Must give at least one requirement to install. Okay, whatever. So apparently this part doesn't actually want to work. Okay, so when you always have some issues with this, I suggest you Google it. Alright, yeah, this is it. This is not really but an issue with the Python installation. Okay. There is the I installed the homebrew and it's saying right. Okay. So it means I need to have a homebrew installed. That's ironic because I was saying about this. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Alright. Okay. Yeah, it's doing the install right now, which is okay. It should go like this. So there are things like get an issue and get all of the information about this issue. You can sort out these project keys that are actually kind of founded. You can add a comment in here, and yeah, as you can see, you're defining and saying basically this issue now is this key right here. And when you're adding the comment, you're defining that you're adding the comment where this issue, and then it says comment text. That is something that you can actually do. But the thing that I found, I will actually run through this script right here, is first of all, this variable actually takes the ID account of that user. So how do you find the ID? You actually go to, well, if it's your ID, then you go to the profile, and behind people, this is your ID right here. But if you wanna found the account ID of a different user, then what you're actually doing is you're going to the user management, you select your user right here, and where in this URL, when it says everything above this slash right here, this is going to be your account ID, and you put it here. Then you can define the project keys in here, all the project keys that you separate by comma. Role name, not actually really needed, but I just wanted to be there just in case. You add these headers as well, and most of these headers are familiar from the Postman. And this is where it gets interesting. So first of all, this is where it's looking through the IDs of the role, and you can actually get this by going and defining, going with projects, and within the projects you can go with all of the other things. Okay, so let's see here. No, it doesn't simply work. I don't know why. Yeah, it's still not running properly. I don't know, is this idea that I ran into the OpenSSL issue. Currently, the SSL module is compiled with LibreSSL. Compiled with LibreSSL. Yeah, well, this is the one. Yeah, so it goes with this one. Pimp install this. Okay, let's go with this one, but since I'm using Mac, I'm gonna go with pip free install, because right. Huh. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's really funny. You should consider the command. Ah, okay. This part. Okay. Alright. Found the existing installation. Installed. No. Is now the same error? No, it's not. But what does it say? Email API token. I think I know what it is. Okay, I know what's the problem. Alright, we're gonna fix this. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go to our Jira. This is the thing, it needs to have the HTTPS. Otherwise, it won't work. Watch. Now. There we go, finally. Okay, this is a lot of data that you're actually having here. So for example, Jira project, this one. So it only lists the projects, so it's like straightforward. It's not in the best kind of a format in there, but it can be really useful. So it's saying Jira project, this is the key of the project, this is the name of the project, this is the ID of a project. And it goes on and goes on. For example, there's another thing like project roles, and for the project roles I'm gonna define here the key of this project, and it's MC, like marketing campaign. Let's go here. There we go. So it says even this one, this is the project role. Then we have service desk team ID project role, then the ID, then for the administrators project role of this one. Why am I telling you this? Because the admin role ID has been defined in here, and what this actually does, it's saying for project key and project key, so for all of them. So you're gonna add the user to this project key, and you're gonna be using this project role ID, and this is what you're going to do, and it really does it. So back to here, so you can actually go Jira project roles, for example. Then you can say we can maybe find some users, and we can actually go and say Jira, and we can say, yeah, you can even add a user if that is something that you can actually, or that if that is something that you want to do. Current user, it's gonna print out. There is this interesting thing, deactivate the user. And maybe there's a great challenge to actually deactivate more users, not just one. Alright, so Jira service desk, server info, role screens, sessions, user. Alright, so let's see what prints out. Let me see. Okay, positional agreement ID. Okay, it's missing that one. Yep, it's missing the ID. ID of a user, eh? Wow. Let's go with that one as well. So I'm giving the ID. Let's see. There we go. It gives me the name of the user based on this ID that I have defined in here. And you can say project keys, these ones, and you can actually go for, let's say, for all of those project keys to actually list out the project leads, for example. That is another thing that you can do. Another, of course, thing that I've done was actually using the Python. If I wanted to actually type almost the same comment to all of the issues that are basically that are high critical issues. So that is another thing that you can actually do. The interesting thing is that soon enough we're going to be having the Atlassian CLI, and this CLI, it's actually going to be something that is going to be presented by the Atlassian, and this is going to be a native feature, so it's not going to be something that is going to be out of the box. So yeah, all right. What else do we have? We can add a comment if we want. We can update some of the fields. We can append the labels. We can delete the issues if we actually want. So that is another thing. Issue 1, issue 2. So this is like linking a remote Jira issue. Need app links to be configured to work, where you can add a remote link between these two issues. So this is like authentication, the thing that I was talking about. That is the authentication. Yep. And this one with the Kerberos, with issues, and it goes with issues, and it goes with the assignment and all that stuff. So let's take that for example. Let me go to mobile dev. In here, not the best one. All right, let's go platform development. All right, plat 2764. And I'm gonna say issue equals to Jira.issue. It's gonna be plat 2764. Now what's gonna happen is if I go print out, let me clear the terminal, and I go and say print issue, it's gonna give me the issue key. But what I can do, issue dot, so this is something that I can do, parse and all of that stuff. So if it's like a comment, whatever, Jira.issue, then the Jira.assign issue, for example. And so you're defining and saying Jira dot what we're doing. So let's say assign issue. So this is going to be issue, and we're looking for the user Lana Grant. Okay. Jira assign issue, new assignee. Okay. So basically didn't do too much, but it's already on Alana Grant. Let me assign this to me. Okay. There we go. It's changed it. So now it's assigned to me. And we can maybe say something like we have more, let's say, issues, right? So I'm just wondering how we can define and say, yeah. Okay, let me try something. I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna say issues. Gonna make a list. 277. And the numbers are weird. 277 7. Let's go with plat. Marketing on board 189441. 8941. Alright, whatever. And now for I in issues, yeah, wondering about this one. Okay. Whoop. Issue does not exist, or you don't have the permission for it. But it does. It's right here. 2777. Plat 2777. Okay, it's right there. Sure does not exist. Ah, okay. Let me see if I can grab something from here. For... oh, wait. For issue. And issues. And if I leave this blank, it's missing one. But can I go with issues? No. No. Okay, that was an interesting thinking there. Project keys. And for the project key, which is this one right here. And this is a function. Okay. No, it simply doesn't go like that. No. Hmm. Cannot be done like that. Alright. But you get the idea. Alright. That is it for now. I will see you guys in the next video. See ya. Bye.